us to participate tonight.
He hears that every morning, I'm sure.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
Let's see if I get that down. All right. It says it's unsupported, but it should be up there. Let's see. Here we are. And now we need the voice from above. Need the voice from above to make sure that we're okay. It should be on there. So let me get on to our site here. The interwebs have been slow today. Anybody else notice that?
I mean, you got a lot of streaming happening.
That's true. That
in
is
the
true.
state right now.
That's true. That is true. All right. So that should give us that. Let's see. All right. It says we're live. Just see if I can find us. There we are. Oh, perfect. All right. Well, I think we're up. I think we're running all turbines to speed. So it must be Whiskey Wednesday. Dan is here. Dan Loeser's here for his triumphant return.
I know. I live here now.
Yes. We got a Cotto back. It's awesome. It's awesome. Anytime we need Dan. And what's great about Dan being back is he brought us some really good goodies. It's the first time really that the distillery expressions of Fettercairn have been available in the United States.
Yeah, well, last year was a little.
Wait, well, it was a little kerfuffle last year too.
Well,
though. It was like a son of a weird.
I like to say last year was our soft release of Fettercairn
Very soft
in the U.S. Official, OBs, official bottlings of Fettercairn in the U.S. because we just released the 24 and the 28. We just had a couple hundred bottles total of those. So that was the introduction into the United States of Fettercairn. Now, whether or not it was, whether I shouldn't be on here questioning my company's decisions, but
it's the perfect place. No one's watching.
Yeah, no one's watching. But I do understand it's for many. Anyone here heard of Fettercairn before? Just a show of hands. I knew it.
Most of us know from independent bottlers.
Yes, I know. You got all the pros in here. So before this release, before 24 and 28 landed, but really primarily for the 12 and 16, these last couple of years, not most of the people in this room, but most in the United States had not heard of Fettercairn. If you had, you were, and I say this affectionately, being one, you were a whiskey nerd who maybe were doing independent bottlings.
Right.
Single Cask Nation was putting some stuff out from Fettercairn.
Yep. I myself have done several bottlings of Fettercairn. For those of you who know, we did Boba Fettercairn.
Did you really?
Yes. Yes. We did that one. That was actually very, very popular. That was a great bottling.
That's great.
And they actually did another bottling for us that was very similar from Single Cask.
From Single Cask.
Yeah.
So, I've had some of those as well. I think some of those, once we try some of these this evening, you'll see. Some are, I think, if you've had some of those independent bottlings, some are quite faithful to our liquid and what we make at the distillery, and some taste nothing like it whatsoever.
Right.
So it's very exciting to get this really beautiful liquid now out in the hands of everybody and everyone's glass.
I love the packaging. I will tell you. I mean, I don't drink the packaging, but I do love it.
Yeah. You sell the packaging.
I do sell the packaging.
Yeah. Well, that's a good opportunity to. Well, you brought the packaging up, so let's talk about the packaging a little bit.
I just want to know how you guys stole the Boston Marathon.
I know.
Logo,
I'll tell you, it's since last year with these two. I've been talking to my company. I said, we have quite an opportunity here.
That's right. You do. I think I was the one who brought that
up. You might have been. So what we're doing with the packaging, which I think is really quite elegant, and it also tells the story of the distillery somewhat, and what makes the liquid so remarkable. So if you can look at the bottle first, you'll notice there's a ring around the top, some lines running down the bottle over that beautiful Boston Marathon logo. That's what we're doing there is we are echoing this process that happens on our stills, which is really the single thing that if you were going to think about one thing about Fettercairn outside of the, outside of the unicorn. It's this process that we have. We're a very small distillery. It's a boutique distillery. It's the smallest of all the distilleries in
Which
the
is why it's not
White
available
Mackay
everywhere all the
portfolio.
time.
Exactly. We actually had to pull in from a significant number of global markets so that we could sell here in the United States to all the thirsty Americans. And even then, we are.
And then you brought in all the Scots and they're drinking everything.
And they're drinking it all. Yeah.
You guys know what they're drinking the hell
no,
out of Boston.
They're
right
like,
now.
we can get this. It's fine.
That's right.
So we pulled in from a number of global markets so that we could sell here in the U.S. And even then, only a few privileged, major markets. So here in the Northeast, we got it in Florida and Texas and California. A little bit goes to Chicago, but other than that, that's really all, the only places you can get it now. Because even then, the production's still quite limited.
Yeah.
We only have 4 stills, 2 spirit stills, 2 wash stills. But speaking to the packaging, and the stills come into that, what is a very, what's quite unique about our process. There's a number of things unique about the process, but in terms of distillation, we use what's called a copper cooling ring. And that's what you're kind of seeing on the bottle. So on the top of the neck of our stills, which are smaller stills, onion-shaped stills, we have this copper cooling ring. And what that does is it pipes cold water directly in, and it bathes the outside of the still like a waterfall, continually running down the outside of the neck of the still. So it bathes the still in this cool water, and it adjusts, it changes the temperature from the top to the bottom of the still by about 100 degrees.
Really?
So the way I think about it is that it kind of tricks the spirit into thinking it's in a taller still. So we
makes it more difficult to get to the top, so it needs to be lighter.
Right, because it's getting much cooler.
I see.
So, like we all know, much taller stills produce very floral, delicate, fruity, new make spirit. But that delicate spirit doesn't last in barrels very long because it is so delicate. It's not great for much like extended aging, but it's good at a younger age. So what we get from this process, which first was introduced by the distillery manager, Alistair Menzies in the 50s when we only had 2 stills. And the why is still kind of up in the air. It's similar to something you would see at a distillery to rehydrate a barrel, that ring that they'll put on a barrel to get it wet again. So we think maybe he saw that and thought, let me put it on a still and see what it does. And then in the 60s, when we doubled our capacity to 4 stills, we kept it. And so we get this really beautiful, and we could do it as we're actually nosing through the 12-year because it's a great example of it. We get this tremendous tropical quality, this really fruity, tropical, bright quality from the spirit, while retaining this really great oily, what we call a coconut waxy mouthfeel. And it produces just this a remarkable liquid. When I first tried the 12 and the 16 year earlier this year, I got so excited because I am a whiskey drinker first and foremost, and I thought it was something really very unique, not something you get in single malt all that often. And to speak to your remarks on the packaging, we've echoed that in the bottle, and that's why you kind of see this oxidized copper on the box as well.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's really cool because if you've ever seen some of the older stills, they all have that.
They have that, yeah, and having water running out of that, it really does it. Yeah, and
going to make it sort of emphasize it.
Yeah, exactly. And the unicorn, well, hope and fingers crossed we can tie that into the marathon next year. That was actually the family crest of Sir Alexander Ramsay, who was the gentleman who founded the distillery in 1824. Very old distillery, like it's our smallest distillery, it's our oldest distillery. And he founded it he had all this land in Fettercairn. We're about 20 miles south of Aberdeen, and the eastern highlands of Scotland, in an area that's called the Garden of Scotland, named for its really rich, fertile soil. And he had these guys that were on the lands, these farmers that were also making a lot of illicit whiskey. And he said, well, why don't I get these guys to make whiskey for me? So they took an old corn mill and they turned it into this distillery. And that's where the unicorn comes from. But maybe many people here know that the unicorn is also the national animal of Scotland. Did everybody?
Not the haggis.
Many people know that. Yeah.
But you will never see either one, but not the haggis.
Well, they know now. They know now. They know now. They know now. As it was told to me, maybe it was perceived that it could possibly be real because of the narwhal horns that would wash up on the on the beaches, and then someone told me that, and I said, so they thought unicorns swam. But in Gaelic lore, a unicorn was the only animal that could defeat a lion. And there's a country that shares a border with Scotland where the animal is their national, where the lion is their national animal. So,
yep.
Wink. Yeah.
And then, yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone.
Yeah.
All right. So let's delve into the 12 then.
Yeah.
Let's see. So what's the, I'm going to beat Lisa to the term. What's the ABV?
46.
46.
Yeah.
So are we looking at it basically unchill filtered?
Unchill filtered.
Yeah. So the magic number for the
highest ABV. Right? Yeah. So it's unchill filtered, and because of the, the stills, also extended fermentation. We're fermenting in Oregon pine washbacks for up to 60 hours. You get about as much alcohol as you're going to get in fermentation at about 45, and extended fermentation starts to produce a bit of lactic fermentation, which adds a creaminess, and adds a bit of, floral quality to your mash. And then, and we go through those beautiful stills and non-chill filtered natural color. The 12-year, if you looked it up online, you might see a bottle that is a 12-year that is darker and is at 40% ABV. That's the 12-year as it was throughout the rest of the world. And among many aims of the Fettercairn distillery, sustainability and some other really great things we can talk about, they changed the formulation. So now the 12-year is non-chill filtered natural color. That the original 12-year was chill filtered and did have a bit of color in it and was 40% ABV.
Okay. That'd be caramel coloring for those in the know.
Yeah.
Now you know.
So
that's really nice.
That tropical quality, right? This is really sort of a remarkable. When I first tried it, I was like, this is a summer whiskey. And I know for most of us here, all whiskey is a summer whiskey, but
and a winter whiskey.
But this is
winter and spring,
yeah.
Fall.
A year round beverage. But to me, this this really sings. I put it. I've recently, as the weather's gotten warmer, I've just been pouring it over a generous glass of ice. And I mean, it's terrific on its own in a Glencairn, so you can really explore it. But as like a beverage, as like just to sit and enjoy it, it's so rewarding. Just on ice, diluted, those tropical notes really start opening up. Almost refreshing.
Actually, I would even say to you guys on this one, add a couple drops of water to this.
Yeah.
You're just going to see that oiliness sort of like, it almost amplifies it gives you more flavors, but it almost amplifies that little bit of oiliness to it too.
Yeah, for sure. The toastiness is there from the bourbon casks, all first fill bourbon casks.
There's a little nutty finish to this too.
A little bit, yeah.
I get that. I do get that sort of like that coconut sort of flavors in there too.
Yeah. This banana, mango, things like that, vanilla. I think it's just remarkable.
I mean, it's perfect for the 80-degree weather we've been having.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's like, this has got enough flavor in it that like you said, like, oh, I'm going to throw, I'm telling you to throw a couple drops of water in there. You're saying throw it on ice. It's one of those type of things. It's like, enjoy whiskey different ways. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't like ice in my whiskey. Then don't drink it that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Don't drink it that way. It's very easy.
Yeah. Many years ago when I developed my love for whiskey at this place in this bar in Brooklyn that is closed 12 years ago, but it was called Char Number 4, and it was actually Pinhook whiskey. The gentleman, Sean Daniels. Yeah, that was his place.
My friend's cousin.
Really? No kidding.
Yeah.
So he's everywhere.
He's the beverage whisperer, Kenny Sadowski. That's his cousin.
Oh, no kidding. This was his very first foray into hospitality. Well, he was working in hospitality, but this was his restaurant, and it was demonstrating his. At the time, that was his demonstration of his love for American whiskey. Now he has his own whiskey brand. So I worked for him. I was a lead bartender there for 6 years. I developed this, that's where I fell in love with whiskey. And people would say, when I would tell people, they'd ask me questions and I'd bring them whiskeys and they would say, well, how do I drink it? And I'd say, well, if it's something you've never had before, I always try it personally. I try it as it's bottled because that's what they put into the bottle. But once it's in the glass, it's your whiskey. You can do whatever you want with it.
I always point out to people that, like, and I always say, like, add a couple drops of water and stuff like that.
Sure.
Like this.
Yes.
And I go, I'm just going to let you guys know that when I go to Scotland and I go to the bar, there's usually a faucet on the bar to add water to your whiskey.
A very, like, probably a room temp water.
Right. But it's
not
right
tap
there.
water.
But it's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, so they're telling you it's okay too. I like stuff that's a little bit higher ABV because then I can sort of I can play with my final iteration of what I'm going to drink.
Sure.
I usually miss it. I go past where it was really good. So then I have to put more whiskey in it. And then I try it again and I go past it again. I got to put more whiskey in it. And this is how half a bottle gets gone.
But you're staying hydrated.
But I am staying hydrated. Yeah. Yes, that's true. All right. What do you guys think of the 12?
Great.
It's great because you got a bottle you're taking home with you tonight. So it's even better, right? Now you don't even have to open that bottle. You already know how it tastes, right?
I have to tell you, this bottle, once you open it, it evaporates.
It's that hole at the top.
Okay. It really evaporates. Yeah. This is a bottle that goes away and then half a bottle is gone.
I mean, just
haven't added any water to it.
Who's first time having Fettercairn? Damn, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Do you who likes it? All right.
I'm not seeing any of this, so that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any thumbs down.
That's really good. All right. So I'm gonna point out to the 12 is probably the most readily available, but even that has been somewhat of a tough to keep in stock. Is my suppliers, my wholesalers over here, nodding like a one of those bobbleheads over here, saying yes, because I'll even tell you that is we ran out before this event took place, and we were just praying that the next load was going to come in so you guys could all have your whiskey tonight. So that's how tight everything's being played with right now.
Yeah.
And that should, that as we get along, that should get a little bit better. Don't get me wrong, but
it will. It's a good problem to have.
That's right. But it also means that people are sort of like digging it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we're seeing now that, shops that have taken in, that initial shipment back in April, May, is gone, and they're looking for a replenishment. Yep. So for a whiskey that many people have not heard of and probably have not had an OB from, it's doing really well, and I think it should. I mean, it's particularly with these.
No, they just tried it. They understand why now.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. All right. So let's move to the 16. So tell me the sort of the movement of the year going to 16. What are the differences now that we're gonna
entirely different? No, I'm just kidding. It's
now something completely different.
Yeah. I think that you see different approaches in many whiskeys, particularly in single malts. A number, a different age statement sometimes is just that plus, and sometimes it's a whole different series of things. I know that's what we do with the Dalmore, but with Fettercairn, it is just 4 more years. It's 0.4% ABV, a little higher, but still non-chill filtered, still natural color, still all first fill bourbon casks. But the flavor profile,
46.4
is, if what I'd like to say is if you're getting those tropical fruits on the 12 year, if you're getting pineapple and banana and mango, I think in the 16 year on the nose, you get caramel right up front. I think those bourbon casks are really showing in those extra 4 years. And then that fruit is starting to get some brown spots. It's starting to become a little overripe. Yeah. And a little more concentrated. The finish is a bit longer.
And you also get I get sort of like caramel apple.
Yeah, that's great. Too. That's great. I love that.
You guys getting that at all, or is it just me? Just me? Okay. Usually is. Just me.
No, that's actually spot on.
What's that?
I hadn't heard that before.
Raisins. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of that spiciness going on.
I love
that vanilla comes in.
Oh, caramel apple is really spot on. That's great. That's like all I'm tasting now. Like the finish is caramel apple.
Well, that's my mind tricks.
Yeah.
These are not the droids you're looking for. I really like this one. Here's sort of the weird thing is everybody's an like I try not to be an ageist. Like if it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it is, right?
Yep. Same.
But I will tell you a lot of times when I see a complete lineup and I try a complete lineup, the 15, 16 usually for me is the sweet spot, not the 18.
Sure.
And we're going to try some older whiskeys tonight.
Yeah.
You guys are very fortunate. You're going to get to try some older whiskeys tonight. But, you know, just for me, I was just talking about this earlier today. I just did a little review of a whiskey too. And I kept talking about this. It's all, for me, at this point, it's all about balance. Is the whiskey balanced? And this has some nice ups and downs, but like it's harmonious throughout from the start to the finish.
That's great.
And you know, I think when you're drinking whiskey, and we talk about this ad nauseum, extremes are great if I'm having like a glass and I just want something that's really cool, and that's it. But I find that like the balanced whiskeys that show like that from start to finish are just sort of homogenous and sort of they just flow really well.
Yeah.
Also tend to flow out of my bottle really well.
Sure.
You know, and they're ones that I keep going back to.
Yeah.
I just know that it's just like I'm not looking for a stream tonight. I just want a really good tasting whiskey. I want it to have all these like subtle flavors and let me think a little bit on it.
Yeah.
Those little thinking persons.
Yeah.
Whiskey.
Very rewarding.
Like, no, it's rewarding and stuff.
Yeah. Because as you're saying that, I am picturing like a like a graph. And I think that there are certain profiles that kind of like spike early on and then level out, or they spike in the middle or spike in the end, where it's like different parts of your palate or different sort of profile in the flavor. And I think Fettercairn has a nice sort of
nice even flow.
Yeah, very much so. There's not, I talk a lot about certain whiskeys, you'll get a lot of expression up front and you get that one note that just kind of hangs out at the end.
Or they die.
Maybe overstays.
Or they even die.
Or it just drops down
dies
altogether.
and just like boom, it's done. And it's very thin and just like damn, that's it.
Yeah,
that's all I'm getting.
Yeah.
But this one really flows and it has a really nice. It has actually quite a long finish.
Yeah.
Also, and it's a pleasant one too.
Very nice.
What do you guys think of this? Yeah. Just out of curiosity. 12? 16. All right.
Let's see what happens when we go to the older.
Yeah, I know. We're setting you up, is what it's called. All right.
I find it's pretty split. Like
I think
we'll see. We'll talk.
We'll see.
We'll talk about it.
But you know what? There's no wrong answer because it's all about mood. I mean, okay, I'm going to ask you a question. How many of you only have one whiskey open at home? They didn't even raise their hand. They just started laughing at me. Just started laughing. How many people have 10 whiskeys open at home? Okay. We call that a start. How many people probably have more than 20 whiskeys open at home? I'm only going to go up to 20. I'm not going to embarrass anybody. Yeah, but a lot of people because and what happens with that? When you get home or it's at night and you're after dinner or whatever you're going to do, you sort of what am I feeling like tonight? How was the day? How's the weather? How's this? So it's that sort of directs you what you're going to drink rather than maybe the brand or anything like that. If you know your collection or you know which whiskeys you have, it sort of directs you of like, how am I feeling today? What am I going to have today?
Yeah.
And so you some days like today would be a perfect day for me for the 12.
Sure.
If this dropped a little in temperature, or maybe we get a little, maybe just not like cloudy day, I might go for the 16 because I'm going to spend longer with it or whatever, So what's your favorite whiskey now is not maybe your favorite whiskey then.
Sure. Or on any other day.
A day, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
On any other day. No, that's.
What's that? My favorite whiskey is the one in my hand because usually that's how I picked it. Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right, Megazone. I'll call your wife and tell her later that you were right.
You got his wife's number?
That's why you're here now. All right. So now you're going to get a little bit of a special treats that we have in store for you. We actually even have a couple more special treats that you don't know. They're not up here yet. So
no food tonight.
No food.
No food tonight.
He was like,
got some really great.
are we going to have food tonight? I go, well, no, it's not in the budget tonight, man. We're trying some really cool whiskeys. Chef Elena, we'll do another one with Chef Elena. How's that? All right.
Great.
All right.
Doing later in the year.
Let's do the 24.
Yep.
24-year-old. That's the
24-year-old.
next one. That's number 3 on your chart.
Yeah. So
if you already haven't drunk it already while we're listening and droning on.
yeah, I'll say it. I'll save everybody
Easy
the
for you
trouble.
to say.
First fill. Yes. All. For these two, these were first fill bourbon. Now, in the 24 and the 28, you're getting a combination of refill and first fill. For those of you who are saying tonight was your first time experiencing Fettercairn, how many people have in the last 30 or 40 years had a blended whiskey? Yeah. You've probably all had Fettercairn. This was for many years. This was a whiskey that was predominantly going into blends. And if you've tried the 12 and the 16, you could probably understand why. Depending on what you were going for in your blend,
this can help.
This can help, right? Really help brighten it up, give it a bit of fruit, something unique. And so what's tremendous about these whiskeys and the older whiskeys that we offer from Fettercairn, some very limited rare whiskeys, a 40, a 46, and a 50. These were whiskeys that the original whiskey makers at Fettercairn, and even the whiskey makers 24 years ago, probably would never have imagined as a single malt.
Right.
So it's very cool that we're getting to try this very old.
And it's also not a lot of it because that wasn't the mindset.
No.
Either.
No. I mean,
especially for a whiskey that was primarily used in blends.
And
by the way, just to point this out to you, okay, I'm going to say when I started delving into whiskey and started selling whiskey, it was probably 95% of the world was drinking blends.
Mm-hmm.
It was 5%.
Mm-hmm. That was like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah. A little bit longer than that. But anyways, now the numbers are actually like it's only 90%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk about doubling the percentage, though. I mean, and you're still only talking about 10%
mm-hmm.
of the whiskey consumed being in that single malt category.
Yeah, that's still something.
Now, I could be wrong. If it's 9 or it's 11, I'm sorry, but I'm not a statistician. But that's just about there. And we, because we're into single malt, so we're like, man, that's like everything to do all and all this stuff. No, it's not.
Yeah,
majority of the world's still drinking
blended
whiskey.
Yeah.
You are in the silent but strong minority.
Yeah. Very strong.
Very strong. And very opinionated.
Yeah, very opinionated. Not so silent.
Not so silent.
Yeah. So 24 years, combination of first fill and refill. This is also non-chill filtered. This is also natural colored.
What was the ABV on this one?
46.5.
Oh, we're going,
So it's a little higher. You can put a couple drops in if you like. It's interesting because last year when we released the 24 and the 28, that's all I had to compare it to. So it's like, what do you like, but chocolate or peanut butter, right?
No.
But it's so terrific to get to taste it in this lineup.
Really vibrant at 24. I mean, I got to tell you, a lot of times when you start climbing up the ladder, especially in over 20, the whiskeys tend to get what I call flabby.
Yeah.
They're not, the flavors aren't quite there. They're there, but they're sort of like, they're muted a little bit. Mm-hmm. They don't really stick. Mm-hmm. This is still got some nice vibrancy to it.
It does. The tropical quality is there.
Which I think you start getting to take away because you're using some refill and some new. Mm-hmm. You think also it's going to start losing some of that. You're going to start losing that tropical is going to become more woody.
Yeah.
I don't care. I know the atmosphere, but it's still sitting in wood for that long.
Yeah. But this still retains some of that, but it is becoming definitely more savory.
I think
that.
That finish on that's really cool.
We start getting like almost like creamy desserts you make with tropical fruits.
It's even got like almost like a finish on that. Even turns a little bit towards like the citrusy. Mm-hmm. realm.
Yeah.
Where it's like you ever had like candied lemon?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, something almost candied. I get this and I'm not cheating because they also say it on the box. but the finish on this, like just as the finish starts to hit, it's like red licorice. Which is red licorice by itself is a very fake. It's a fake candy. but that sort of that combination of the sweetness and that fruitiness is kind of producing that.
Red vines.
Red vines.
Red
Yeah.
vines. You know, used to do that a lot too. Is Belvini 15.
Mm.
You get the single cast of Belvini 15, and they would fall to like one side. One would be like it was almost black and red.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
The
like some of
licorices?
them had that sort of more of that anise sort of flavor. Another ones had that like
Mhm.
red licorice flavor. It was sort of weird that it did, but it depended on the barrel you got.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Uh,
fun.
but
That's fun.
both of them good.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not kicking any of them out of my glass.
Sure.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This is great.
All same.
Same mash bills,
100% malted barley.
and there's what are the woods all the same? It's still all ex bourbon, or is
It
there anything?
all ex bourbon.
All ex bourbon.
Yeah, just a combination. These are all first fill.
Yeah.
And this is first and refill.
Yeah. For
And
those of you who don't understand, first fill in Scotland means it already had it was already filled here in the U.S.
but
It's the first time they're filling.
the last thing that was in it was bourbon.
Right.
So we're the first fill
of something
Yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
But you talk about which is you teed it up for me. At Fettercairn, and single malts are 100% malted barley, unless it's a grain malt. But at Fettercairn, when I talk about we're in this area, the Garden of Scotland, it's called the Garden of Scotland because it has this tremendous, fertile soil, sort of similar to the Black Isle that's on the western side of Scotland. And at Fettercairn, we source all of our barley from within 50 miles of the distillery. So it's called the Fettercairn 200. It is a sort of a collective of 200 mostly independent farmers.
Okay.
That we are sourcing our barley from. They send that barley to Baird's, who malts it for us.
Right.
But the barley itself is all coming from right around the distillery.
Does the distillery sort of dictate or suggest what barley grains they're using?
Well, that's a good question.
Like
I don't know. I think
because there is a general sort of like concerto or they'll go for certain ones, and a lot of times it's based on liters of alcohol it will produce.
Yeah.
Because the penny pinchers always want a certain amount.
That'll produce more.
Right. That'll produce more, but it doesn't have to be. But I was wondering if like, because you're just getting them from 200 farmers, are they all like you saying, okay, this year we're all growing X?
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't want to say yes or no.
Yeah.
Either way, because I don't know that. I don't know.
But,
I don't know that. I've heard not just with Fettercairn, but with many distilleries. Sometimes, I was talking to the distillery manager a number of years back at Jura, and somebody as we were there, I think me or someone else asked the question, and he said, what they're looking for is whatever the best barley is that year, and oftentimes growers will do a bit of crop rotation.
Right.
So if you're growing a certain strain, then they'll cycle it out and do another strain. So they're focused on getting like the healthiest, best barley, but to the specific, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, off the top of my head.
Fair enough. All right. So what do you guys think of the 24? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 bottles, sir. Yeah. Two. All right. It's nice. We only have one. So all right. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
The first fill, the timing between the first, what he's asking for is the timing between the first fill and the second fill.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm going to sort of like put it down to is how many times you use the first fill before and then reuse it for the second fill.
Yeah.
You use it like, it's the first fill the first time, and then you're taking those and moving them over to the second fill, and and they're getting filled again when they're coming off like 12 years later, they're getting filled again. That's the second fill. So are you just rotating them out?
No,
So
no.
you rotate,
My
like,
combination is that what's in the 24 and the 28 is a combination of spirit, and some of that spirit right out of the safe went into
First fill.
barrels that maybe had been used before.
Yeah.
And then barrels that were first fill. And if the pie chart of that, I don't know. And honestly, I feel like I think it might be safe to say, without being one of the whiskey makers for Fettercairn, I did get to spend a fair amount of time last year with Stuart Walker, who is the distillery manager at Fettercairn. He grew up near the distillery. He said he he used to ride his bike by the distillery when he was a child. He's in his 60s now. He's been at the distillery for over 30 years. And I'm sure you've had conversations like this with people who've been, at the same distillery for many years. There's like, you want to, us being all whiskey nerds, and you want to like ask them that, what's the question? And they're like, nah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We've forgotten. We just do it a certain way, like when we do it. I mean,
I think they
you
go
get geeky. You're like, does it matter if you do, like, I don't know. They're like, I don't know, because we just do it this way.
Yeah,
I mean,
there is that they're selecting from parcels,
right,
that were a combination of first fill and refill. They're tasting those barrels and deciding
then they're
that
blending
these are going into the 24 year. So as much as we know, it's a combination of both, but I don't think that just because of the nature of how particular whiskey can be, how barrels, if we were to age them in, if this was a warehouse, barrels back there and barrels over here are just different for some reasons.
Right. No, they are.
They're
They come off the still.
different.
I just so you know, because I've done this, that barrels that came off the same distillation run that was stored next to each other for like 15 years, totally different.
Very different.
I mean, just totally different. And so the wood plays a part, where they're located plays a part, but there is a difference in just wood from the same tree too. I mean, it doesn't
the same tree, depending on what part of the higher up and lower,
And it's one of those type of things that there does come a time when the barrels are no longer used.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like they've had their cycle, and they're done. Now, other people might take those and recharge them and do something else with them. It doesn't mean they're dead. It just means like in the condition they're in now and what they're doing now, it's played its part. Fettercairn is not doing other things like recharring or doing anything like that to them. So they're done for there.
Yeah.
They might go somewhere else and do something somewhere else, but
yeah, exactly.
So like the 24, all right, but that wasn't enough. We have 28-year-old. Yes, sir. Are the barrels that you're getting all from the same bourbon distillery?
No.
You get them on the market, or is there somebody you usually work with?
We've in the warehouse. We've seen. I've seen. Beam barrels. I've seen some Four Roses barrels. We really like, and we'll get as much as we can from Heaven Hill. Small batch from Heaven Hill. That's
New Heaven Hill barrel coming out tomorrow.
Hey,
just so you know.
Heaven Hill are the casks that we use predominantly, and those are the ones that we favor. But
we're not going to kick anybody else out.
We won't kick anybody else out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Answer your question, sir. Good. All right. Cool. All right. So let's because you guys weren't spoiled enough with 24-year-old, let's try 28-year-old.
Yeah.
And you can see the color difference on that.
Color difference on this.
Are they still natural color?
This is at 40. This is 42. So this does get chill filtered.
Okay.
Because it's the lower ABV. So this does get chill filtered. And I believe
you wouldn't.
I believe maybe there might be a little
coloring.
A little color in the 28 year. Yeah. As half the room throws it over their shoulders.
Well, you got to remember too, this is all again tradition of what was done, what is sort of done.
Exactly right. Done with exactly right. But man, this with really old whiskeys, 28 years, 24 years, but I really get it in the 28 year.
It's really silky.
It's very silky.
Yeah.
But on the nose, it's something that, there's a lot of, flower terminology that we could use. And I love using that language, but in older whiskeys, you get, to me, it's just something that I just call it time, something that has just been aged for a very, very long time. And particularly
still some vibrancy there though.
Yeah, it's still there. It's still coming through.
It's not dead.
It's not dead.
It's not dead at all.
It's not dead. I actually recently had a very old bottling of a 30-year-old whiskey, and from a very well-known distillery, but it was a bottling from back in the mid 90s. And is definitely not that age statement from that distillery today, and I cannot name names, but I've had that distillery's newest release of 30 year as well. Very, very different. The newest one gets a flourish in a wine cask. And this, it tasted, it just kind of tasted old. It
Yeah.
was just a little, it was just a little old, and it kind of had flattened out a little bit.
Right.
This does retain some of that vibrancy. That still, that tropical quality is still there. There's those. It tastes kind of on the palate. It's a little like banana bread pudding.
Yeah, it's a little
Maybe
stone
a
fruit
little
in there too. A
dessert,
little
yeah,
stone
stone
fruit.
fruit, like apricots or something. Yeah.
I've noticed that a lot in some of the older single malts.
Mm-hmm.
That apricot shows up quite a
Mhm.
bit when they start getting older.
Yeah. But this
This one almost goes to like because it is made from apricot pits. It goes almost to that nuttiness of like amaretto sort of
cool.
flavor on
Yeah,
that.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. This is when I say time and dunnage, and everyone familiar with dunnages? Old warehouses,
Old brick houses in Scotland are
Exactly.
usually not very high, and the floor is dirt
Yeah. Yeah. So
or gravel.
you can do 3 barrels high. It's a dirt floor.
If you want something to last 28 years as you're aging it or longer, it's usually from the bottom floor right next to the ground.
Right.
Right.
And if you have dunnage, then all of that is pretty close to the ground.
Right.
And with Fettercairn, we everything is matured on site at Fettercairn, and it is all dunnage. So,
and this is why you don't have enough whiskey.
And this is why we don't have enough whiskey. Yeah.
It's more difficult. It's more difficult to do.
We've got something like 33,000 casks, some dating as far
That's
back
a
as
lot.
far back as the 60s. Yeah, it's really not. It's really not when you consider what other. I mean, I think we were talking numbers, and I think Fettercairn, we can produce like a tenth of what Glenmorangie can produce, just as an example.
A year.
But it's all on the distillery grounds, all dunnage, and that dunnage really starts to sing. It's really it's
a really nice whiskey, and it's one of those type of things that sort of grows on you too. The thing you go like, oh, that's okay, and then you drink a little bit more of it, and you go, yeah, that's and then you drink a little bit more, and it's like, why am I still? I'm not sure yet, but I'm still drinking more of it, and then you go, oh, okay, I like it.
Yeah, it's like, hey, drink more. Me. Yeah. And it is really soft. The
velvety feel is
so
really
velvety, and it's so soft, and you almost miss it. But
there's a lot more going on.
The age really expresses itself on that finish. The age is like moving in with you.
Yep. Oh, I've had that happen. That's why I'm 60 years old. What do you guys think of the 28? Yeah, good.
I mean, 2 years shy of 30, and it's still very, I think
it's very drinkable. Let's put it that way.
Very drinkable. I think I'm very proud to say, if I can be proud of it, that the whiskeys that from White and Mackay, from our portfolio, Fettercairn, of course, the Dalmore, and even the sort of our Tamnavulin, our Space Side, a very cheap and cheerful Space Side malt, the Isle of Jura, of course. And speaking of blends, if you want to dip into a really phenomenal blend, John Barr is our blend as well, and they're all very soft, very friendly, very welcoming, and Fettercairn is no different there. Yeah, really lovely.
Very nice. Okay, well,
and now
for something completely different. No, but I mean, you guys got to try. This is basically what is available for Fettercairn in very limited amounts tonight, and not many people have tried the 28-year-old. You guys got
very few
get to try that tonight.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? You like it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have to say, I mean, with the release of the 12 and the
Fetter
16,
fans,
which happened, Fetter fans. Oh, I love it. With the release of the 12 and the 16, a month and a half ago, and we had these out last year. But I mean, I probably can count on one hand how much in the last year of me engaging, whiskey drinkers, have had a room where everybody has got to do all of
Oh,
these
right.
one after the other.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I want to thank Dan for doing that too.
Yeah.
I want to thank Dan for I don't know what he did.
No,
I don't know.
thank
He
you.
had
I didn't do nothing.
I don't know what the photographs look like that he
just-
had to use, but thank you.
No, I just sit here and make stuff up the whole time.
Now,
I got to change uniforms.
yeah, you got to change uniforms.
So you get that one.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
I will take that one.
Yeah, and I'll put on my other.
All right.
Put on the other because we got a surprise for everybody.
Yeah.
I have a very, very exciting surprise here. Okay, now my voice changes.
Yes, now I'm the Dalmore.
Put on the Dalmore pin, and
yes.
I drove here in a Prius, and when I leave, I'll be getting into an Aston Martin.
You took the train.
Yeah, I took the train. No, I was in coach on Amtrak. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So, you guys, this is not even available yet. So you guys are getting to try this before it's even in the market.
We released it like 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks
it's not,
ago.
but it's not in mass yet.
Yeah.
So what's that? July? Okay. Somewhere in there. This is the 17-year.
This is the Dalmore 17
Give you that
year.
box. I'll let you carry that because if it breaks, it's your fault.
That's the Dalmore 17 year. If any of you happen to be on Whiskey Instagram, you may have seen the account talking about this back in February, and that was when it was released globally, but not in the U.S. So this is just landing on our shores now.
Now, who's the blender on this one? Is this glass?
Yeah.
Great glass.
Yep. And for those of you who people here are familiar with the Dalmore, somewhat. So what because we're just talking about one expression, Northern Highlands, Western Highlands, the town of Alness, and what really sets the Dalmore apart in the world of single malts, and it's so interesting because I've done this just a couple times since we've released Fettercairn, is talk about both of them at the same time. So it's a bit of, we're shifting gears just slightly, but those of you who know the Dalmore know that we are known for our phenomenal wine casks. With the Dalmore, we focus on the wine. We source prize casks from the world's finest wineries and sherry bodegas. What is most important to the Dalmore in terms of our secondary maturation and tertiary and beyond is casks that were prized by the winemakers before they come to us. And in most instances, in all of our maturation, we are using casks that were used to make bottles of the very, very fine wines before they come to us. And that is the story with the Dalmore 17 year. There is one commonality with one other expression that is my personal favorite in our principal collection, which is our 15 year. The 15 year is 12 years in first fill bourbon casks, and then spends 3 years in 3 different sherry casks. Our Methuselah Oloroso sherry casks, these are the ones we use most regularly, that we're most well known for. This is a 30-year-old bottling called Methuselah from Gonzales Bias that is a blend of Oloroso with a bit of Pedro Jimenez, a cream style or a sherry dulce, VORS, which literally stands for very old rare sherry, or in Spain they just call it Vorse. And I thought that's a very American thing to do. And so it goes into these trio of very rare casks: the Methuselah, the Apostles, which is another cream style that uses Palo Cortado, where the Methuselah uses Oloroso.
Yeah.
And then a third style called Amoroso, which kind of flips it. It's Pedro Jimenez heavy and then uses some Oloroso
to bring it down a little bit.
And so that is what we do with the 15 year from 12 and 3.
Okay.
The 17 year uses the same cask combination, but it is in those sherry casks, all 3 of them, for 5 years.
Wow.
This is, I think, the first time from the Dalmore that we've broadly released something that sees that much sherry maturation.
Oh, it's on the nose, man.
So 5 years in these 3 sherry casks. But I have to make this distinction. It's not just the 15-year plus a couple years.
Right.
Where we're really focusing with the 17-year is that second cask called the Apostles cask. That is even more rare and hard to come by than the Methuselah casks. We have access to those Methuselah casks and only a handful of them, but we get several hundred Methuselah casks. We only get maybe 200 Apostles casks a year. And that sherry is really very
First of all,
quite
highly
unique.
coveted.
Highly coveted. It is available. It's something, I mean, not everywhere. It's not super widely distributed, but it is here in the U.S. in certain pockets. But it is it's a bit nuttier. It's a bit leaner, a little brighter for a 30-year-old sherry. They get sweetened with Pedro Jimenez. And we all know the term, the sherry bomb. And for me, I've always sort of associated sherry bomb with a whiskey that uses the seasoned casks, so that when you try that whiskey, you get that sherry up front, and it's rich and it's sweet, and wow, what's that? And then there's that like new oak that
Right.
kind of hangs out for a long time. This is probably the Dalmore's version of a sherry bomb. But we're doing that.
Yeah, but it's a little bit more elegant, and it comes across. There's a lot more flavors going on.
Yeah. This is really quite decadent, and it's a sherry bomb that is 5 years in casks that held. Well, for the Apostles and the Methuselah, like I said, those are casks that were used from the Solera that were used to make bottlings of 30-year-old sherry. And for the Amoroso, that is for a bottling as well, but that's an 8-year-old bottling for the Amoroso. But damn. It's really decadent.
It's got it on the finish. There's a pop, so it's finishing, and then there's like another flavor that just before it finishes pops in there, and it's like almost like a red berry or something like that. I get a lot of on this one, which I love. That you sometimes get with sherry is a like fresh white mushroom. I describe it
That's
as.
great.
You
A
know?
little funkiness.
Yeah, well, it's not even funky.
Or
It's
like a
just like this earthiness.
Yeah.
But it's white mushroom, like fresh white mushroom.
Yeah, I love that.
There's no decay. Like a lot of times mushroom people go, oh, it's decay. No. It's a fresh taste. I get this in I get this in this. I think this is. Listen, Greg does. I'm a fan. I've gotten to work with Greg, in one of my past blendings that I've done. Fantastic guy.
Compass.
Yeah, for Compass Bach.
Yeah.
And utmost respect for him and what he's been doing. What he's been popping out of Dalmore is, to me, is and nothing against Mr. Patterson. He's great, but it's almost like a new vision, a new lifeblood to it.
Yeah.
And it's really showing up with like some really incredible expressions.
Yeah, I agree.
This is I'm going to put this. I'm going to put this on there now too.
Yeah.
This is one of those type of things that really sings.
Yeah, and what a it's what a I think very appropriate. It's like dessert after Fettercairn.
Yeah.
No.
What do you guys think? Very different though, right? Than when you've been drinking, but again, this is why you have more than one bottle open. I can see myself drinking 16-year-old that's doing something. I can see myself drinking this 17 for something else. I definitely after dinner, instead of just winding down.
That's kind of how we
definitely see myself.
How we've been thinking about this.
Retiring,
dinner
after dinner, stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So.
It's a very
You want to give us some of that? Oh, great, thank you.
It's it's and I had somebody ask me the question recently, like why 17 years?
Yeah.
And I think for most single malt distilleries, the 18 is their flagship.
Right.
This is sort of you put out different versions of 18-year, but an 18-year is sort of a flagship. It's a North Star of expression. And with a 17-year, you get just about as much age, but because it's not, it's been a less
No.
common age statement.
Right.
You get to kind of,
It carves out a new area.
it comes out a new area.
Carves
You
out a
can
new
do
area,
some
but
more
here's
things with an older whiskey.
but
you
but
know?
here's the thing is, and I'm going to say this right now. My 17 kicks your 18's ass. So, I mean, knowing Greg,
Mhm.
that's like my 17 is better than your 18.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I see what you're saying, yeah.
so, I didn't need the extra year. I just put it in, I just packed it with other flavors that you didn't know about.
That's
So
funny.
thank you very much for sharing that. You guys like that one?
Yeah.
Now,
Keep an eye out.
thank Dan. Now, I wanted to do something a little different tonight because we have the Tartan Army has been invading Boston all week for the World Cup.
Oh, no.
And it's been a lot of fun seeing what's been going on. I was at one of the I got some here. Oh yeah.
Let's see
I
the
got some here.
bottle, though. Yeah.
So I've been having I got it. Thank you. I got it right here. And I was at one of the Red Sox. I was at the Red Sox game on Sunday night, and it's been fantastic seeing them trying to figure out baseball because baseball is completely different than any other sport they play.
Yeah.
But just the camaraderie of the Scottish people and being here in Boston, and by the way, and playing what I've seen as the really good guest. You know, having fun, but at no one's expense.
No.
Going along and helping out where they can. I mean, I just saw the Tartan Army in Providence donated like $30,000 to $10,000 just to the Children's Hospital, the cancer wing.
Right.
And doing some good stuff and having a ball. I was at the like I said, I was at the Red Sox game, and this guy a guy in his kilt comes down and goes, he starts hugging this guy like he was his best friend. They just had met like 5 minutes ago. And he says, "Oh, I'm going to come back. I'll be right up." And they're just like, everybody was having a ball.
Yeah.
We don't have sing-alongs enough and stuff like that. So those need, I don't know if my voice should be in there, but I think we should have some of those things. So what I decided to do, even though this is a New England thing that we should be drinking Moxie, I figured that we would also toast our Scottish brethren that are here and our guest here for a couple weeks with some Iron Brew made from girders, for those of you who don't know.
Now, has anyone had
here.
this before?
Has anybody had this before?
Yeah.
Here you go. No.
Oh, we got this.
It could be worse. I could do the Malort if you like. If we're not toasting Chicago, so we're okay. So
this is a carbonated Dalmore.
Yeah, it's just out. But I think we would do. They had a on the Common today. They actually had a Iron Brew. They were all going onto the Common to drink Iron Brew.
Oh, that's terrific.
So I think in honor of that they were there today, and none of us were there today, that we'd give a salute to Scotland and all she does, and thank you. Slàinte. Thank you. Now I'm going to bring out the Moxie. Now, ready?
It's caffeinated bubblegum.
Yep. Is everybody? I want to thank everybody. Don't go anywhere. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight and doing this. Thank Dan again.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to say goodbye to all the people on Facebook. I'm glad you could join us on Facebook. You can always check it out. Go to It's the Liquor Talking. It'll be out there. And it'll also be on our YouTube page. It's the Liquor Talking YouTube page. So if you have any problems falling asleep at night, you can always follow along. But I hope you had fun. But you should have been here because it was awesome.